Hi, my name is Marissa. Today I want to discuss, I want my channel to be about pagan and Wiccan topics. This week's discussion is Mabon because it is coming up here very soon. So when we're talking about Mabon, we're talking about the sun getting closer to the west. The souls come from the west. If we're looking at the charts, when we're looking at the associations of the life cycle versus the directions. West is associated with death, whereas East would be associated with birth and sunrise. It's sort of a pagan Thanksgiving. So the colors that you would use for Mabon would generally be red, gold, brown, warm colors. Warm autumn colors would be perfect for Mabon. It honors the last day of summer. It is when Virgo turns into Libra. Good foods for that holiday would be fruits and nuts. It's a good time to honor the Earth Goddess. So it's in a lot of ways a male holiday and a lot of ways a female goddess holiday. We have to look at the polarity. We're looking at an equinox, so we're looking at equal one side and equal the other. But there's a lot of themes of death and going down to the underworld, having to preserve things because nature around you is starting to die. It's in the beginning phases of it. This is our last harvest for grain, so it's a good holiday for bread. I know that with Lunasa we had a lot of bread, but you also want to incorporate it into Mabon as well. It's a good time to acknowledge that we reap what we sow. It's a good time for cyclical magic and gestational magic and anything that you have to wait for a cycle for. It's time to clean things out and to take things out of your life that you don't need there anymore. We're looking towards Samhain, which is the Celtic New Year. So if you want to start your resolutions early at that time, you can, especially if you are following a Celtic pantheon. We know that Virgo is ruled by Mercury. In other holidays where we had a lot of fruits, Mabon would be a good time to start preserving our foods to last us through the winter. So our winter food begins to become preserved at this time. We have a lot of stories about goddesses descending into the underworld. We have the old one where Persephone gets taken by Hades, and we have that whole instance. And this would be the time that she would go under, and that Demeter would stop allowing things to grow. We also have stories like Inanna, who went down into the underworld and had to strip off her clothes and luxury to get down to the deepest depths, only to find out she was dead. We have this theme where nature sort of falls in love with death as well, which kind of rings of Stockholm's to me, but this is also a good time of high energy. So if you have any speedy work spells, this is a good time to start that. In my first ritual, we had a little tribute to Pomona, and we did that whole cutting the apple in half, and you look at it and there's a pentagram inside. That would be a good thing to do if you were writing your first ritual. Now, Mabon, the term, has only been in use since the 1970s, not to be mistaken with the saint or the deity. It was coined by Aidan Kelly, and it's been in use in every Wiccan book since about the 1980s. Now, this is not to say that because it's a new holiday that there is no history in it. There has been long recorded history of different fall festivals occurring all throughout the globe in different areas by different names, but they all seem to fall on different dates. And doing what Wicca does, it condensed all of the holidays into one commonly, widely able to be celebrated holiday to acknowledge the wheel of the year and to keep the calendar separated as such. Now, in Welsh folklore, there's a figure known as Mabon, son of Madron, who appears in Arthurian legends. It's not to be confused with St. Mabon's Church, which was actually started by a Welshman, so there may be some combination there. Some of the other holidays that were associated with Mabon or are influences to Mabon are the Festival of Dionysus, the Harvest of the First Fruits, the Wine Harvest, the Feast of Avalon, the Equinoccio di Autunno, the Alphen Alfred, the Cornucopia, Winter Finding, Mian Fo Maher, which I am horribly mispronouncing. Also of note is the Wine Moon September, which is also meant to acknowledge Dionysus. There have been a lot of people to want to disacknowledge Mabon and celebrate the autumn equinox, and I completely respect if you want to distance yourself from that name, Welsh, or if you don't follow a Welsh tradition. Please feel free to like or subscribe. This is my first video. Please don't be so harsh. You have a great day, and hail and farewell.